All right, we're going to go ahead and call this meeting to order for the Town of Fort Myers Beach Bay Oaks Rec Campus Advisory Board. And we're going to go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we will do a roll call, and I'll start down with Jeff.
Jeff Hauge, Community Services Director, Town of Fort Myers Beach.
Neil Mathis, Parks and Rec Manager, Town of Fort Myers Beach.
Annie Neef, hi.
Rick Lowry.
Michelle Cherney.
Barbara Hill.
Joyce Sullivan.
Ed Schoonover.
Rebecca Link.
Welcome, Rebecca.
Thank you.
All right, the first, we have, John is not here, he's not going to be on Zoom. We don't have any Zoom attendance then?
No, he's on a flight right now.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
All right,
He's
just-
excused.
Okay, so with that, we would like to go ahead and get a motion for approval of the minutes. We do have one change that Barbara just caught, which is minors, that Howie's last name is spelled wrong.
It's Hoffman, not Huffman.
Hoffman.
right? Yes.
We get a third try at this one.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too.
Excuse me,
Oh.
I have to take this phone call.
All right.
I'm going to step out.
All right, can I have approval to accept the minutes
I so moved.
with the one change?
Barbara Hill.
Barbara Hill,
I'll second that.
second by Ed, thank you. All right, do we have any public comment? Karen, welcome.
Good morning. Is this on? Yeah, it's on. So as of about 45 minutes ago, I was elected to be the president of the Friends of Bay Oaks.
I'm sorry,
So-
Karen, can you state your name?
Oh, God, how could I forget that part? That's pretty funny.
I'm glad I got to do that.
Yeah. Thanks. Karen Woodson, resident Fort Myers Beach. How about that? And president of Friends of Bay Oaks. So I wanted to give you an update on where we are with things. So obviously we have resurrected Friends of Bay Oaks. We now have a full board, acting board, I should say, and we have a few volunteers that have started with us, but we want to get that expanded. So I'd like to read you the mission statement that we've agreed on and welcome your feedback about it as well. Friends of Bay Oaks is dedicated to creating a safe and supportive environment where children, families, and neighbors can connect, grow, and thrive together, building a healthier, happier, more resilient Fort Myers Beach community. So that's kind of the consolidation of probably 5 of us with input on it. So I can send this out to people. I'll send you an email, and then if you have any changes or think of anything. We're also working on a logo just for Friends of Bay Oaks. I don't have that yet, but we're trying to, well, we will be working with the town to get the right colors and the formatting and that type of thing. We want to take some of the items on the Bay Oaks logo as well as the town colors and kind of incorporate all that. So we have an artist working on it right now, so I should have that within the next couple of weeks, and then I can get it around to everyone.
Hey, Karen. One of the feedback is that it needs to support and advocate the Bay Oaks. I don't know if we can work on the language to adjust that a little bit.
On the mission
Yeah,
statement?
on the mission statement, that it's
Okay.
supposed to support and advocate is the feedback that I'm getting from the board.
Yep, I will definitely look at that and we'll get that in there.
Awesome.
Support and advocate for BORCAB as
No,
part?
Bay Oaks.
For Bay Oaks.
For
For
Bay
Bay
Oaks.
Oaks,
For
okay.
Bay Oaks, correct.
Okay. Yep, we can make those changes. So we also just decided to do a kind of a holiday welcome event. It's going to be on December 3rd, and the whole idea is to kind of let people know what we're doing, who's involved, that type of thing. We need new members because we have no members left. I think we have 10 right now. So members, volunteers, and definitely investors, because we're going to work very, very hard. The whole idea, I think, of a Friends organization is to raise money, because BORCAB cannot do it being part of the advisory type thing. So the way you earn the money and build better, build faster, get things involved is to raise money through a Friends organization. So we'll be kicking that off. So Tom Kitty is our marketing manager and on the board, and so he is going to be putting together all kind of Facebook announcements, every place else we can get it through BORCAB. I want to get PTO involved, as well as some of the other organizations, and so that the other 501c3s, just like we support other 501c3s, they all support us. So we'll get all that communication going. Any questions?
What time was that on the 3rd?
On the 3rd, I think we said 4:30 to 7,
Okay.
and it's going to be at my favorite for sale house on the beach. It's at, so Tom Kitty is volunteering 5921 Estero Boulevard. It's the Clive Daniels home, which is all decorated in Clive Daniels. So it's going to be held at that location because it can hold hundreds of people with the outside pool and patio and everything else. So Tom has volunteered that location for us. And later, as we get further into this, I mean, Jeff and Neil, we need to talk about just how we can interact with Bay Oaks, how we can put on events, what are our stipulations, what do we have to do with permitting, all of those kind of things. I was just talking with Rick outside, and we were talking about maybe some barriers that we want to get rid of, if possible.
Yeah, and I know the Friends of Mound House has it's spelled out pretty well on that, as far as even the permitting goes.
Okay.
You know, they basically don't need permits because they support us. They would
That's
need,
what we're
obviously,
hoping
anything
for.
liquor-wise, we'd need liquor license, those kind of things, but.
But do
I-
we need a liquor license if it's really like donation type things?
To serve, you're gonna serve?
If we're not serving, they
So
just...
we would just do, if it's a special event, we do open container then, more than
Okay,
likely.
okay.
Yeah.
I know there's ways around things, for sure.
Yeah, and we can look at that Friends of Mound House one, because
Okay.
they set theirs up pretty good for themselves when
Okay.
they did that, so.
All right.
Oh, hang tight. I can announce this?
Hold off.
Okay, all right. Hold tight. right.
So that's all I have.
Any questions? This is exciting. This group has been dead for 4 years, so we are so excited to have this kicked off. And with the fact that the town has no funds, we hopefully can get this park rebuilt faster than originally planned.
Yep, exactly. All right.
All right.
I'd like
you.
to make a quick comment. Karen, I just want to thank you. Thank you. There couldn't be anyone better in this role. And anything I can do to work with you, I would love to, and we will show this town that we are a community first, and I would look for that opportunity. Thanks.
We'll wait to read your member items. Bring this up.
Great.
Okay?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Staff liaison report.
Wanna start with-
Yeah, so I just, we had a little card. We have a card for Betty, so I just wanted to pass this around for everybody. So
Yeah. It was from Betty and the wishes that we gave to them after she passed. So we'll just pass it around. It's nice of them to send that like thank you cards.
That's from her son, correct?
I believe so. I don't remember who signed that one,
In the
but
family,
yeah, it's on there.
isn't it? Lovely.
I had that, actually, since we have Betty, we're talking about Betty, I had down in my notes that we talked about doing a bench for her. No?
I think so. Yeah, there was a
Or somebody?
conversation, but
It was in the minutes that we discussed it in the last meeting.
Yeah.
I believe Jeff brought it up as a
There's a
suggestion.
possibility in the park, yeah.
Okay. All right, so just kind of go over the report here for this month's meeting. And you all have a copy of this in your packet, but just wanted to go over our programming. First, we have 25 kids in the Club Rec after-school program. And then just to kind of give you some numbers, this is from our last meeting until last Friday. We've seen a really nice pickup with just patrons coming into the rec center. Our memberships, I won't go through all the different types, but just in those 3 weeks, we had 59 new memberships. So that's a really great number for a 3-week period. Daily passes, we had 21 during that time frame. Pickleball day passes, we had 8 during that time frame. And then we just started our BOSS program up this month. So we had our first trip last week. That was a Marco Island bike trip, and then we did a luncheon. We had 16 signed up for that. And then just daily check-ins at the facility. And this is just anytime somebody comes in to use the gym, they scan in. That was 764 during that time frame. With open basketball on Friday evenings, we're still averaging about 12 to 16 participants. And then I've noticed just in the last few weeks, our fitness classes, they've all started to tick up with, we had in some of the classes maybe only 1 or 2 even at times, and now we're well over those numbers. Andy's class today had 5, so I think she started out with 1 or 2, so everything's picking up. Spin classes have really been picking up as well. We do have fun days for the kids next week. That'll be Monday through Wednesday with Thanksgiving. So, that whole week, Lee County schools are off, so the parents can bring their kids on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday to Bay Oaks. And then, let's see, that's BOSS. And then just kind of what we have coming up, we are going to try to launch a adult co-ed dodgeball league that starts January 20th. We have the Parents Night Out planned. That's for Friday, December 5th. So if parents want to drop their kids off, they can go out to dinner. They can do some last-minute shopping for Christmas. We're going to provide pizza, drinks, popcorn, and then we'll also be showing the kids The Grinch. And then we are offering a free family holiday event on Thursday, December 18th. Author Jim Hammond will be doing a live book reading of How Murray the Moose Saved Christmas. And then afterwards, we'll have pictures of Santa, holiday crafts, and refreshments. And then we're offering a wellness health fair on Wednesday, January 28th. And this is in partnership with Lee Health. So we're going to have a lot of different health screenings available. But the Cancer Institute will be there, the American Heart Association, and that is on Wednesday, January 28th from 10 to noon. And then just some of the events that have happened here since we met last time. We had a powerlifting USA competition. It was a regional qualifier on Saturday, November 8th. We had about 150 folks between the competitors and spectators in attendance for that. And then we just, last weekend, we had this past weekend on Saturday, we had our Beach Kids Foundation pickleball tournament. It was a great success. I'd say we had about 125. We had 3 different divisions. We started with advanced, intermediate, and then beginners. We had the fire department there. It was just a really great event. We had some great prizes that they donated off and did a nice raffle. So we're looking forward to more pickleball tournaments down the road. We've got one in March that's going to be coming up. So I'm just really happy with how things have picked up, and we are really short-staffed, as all the departments are throughout the town. But I think the staff is doing a great job keeping up with the additional programming and additional folks coming in. So I couldn't be prouder of the staff and the job that they're doing. And then we are going to be, after Thanksgiving and again after the holidays, we're redoing our rack cards. I think we talked about that at the last meeting, to distribute to the local restaurants, local businesses, and resorts around the island to try to get more folks in and just get, especially our visitors that come in, hopefully just more folks doing the daily passes and coming in for pickleball. So that's my report.
And I just want to add to that, sorry if I interrupted somebody, that, one of the things we talked about after all the budget cuts was that one of the risks about cutting all those is that we were going to have less programming, less hours, Obviously, the less hours is due to staffing, but the programming, I got to toot Neil and his staff's horn. It's been incredible. I've been so impressed with how much programming you can do with the little staff that you have, and how nice they're working together to get all these things in. I really do appreciate that for the staff and the support for the community. I mean, I was down there for the pickleball, more towards the beginners, ending there, but it was a great turnout. Everyone was having a great time. There's some good pickleball being played. We had anywhere from a 10-year-old playing to, I don't even know, I'm not even going to say the upper end, but
Good idea.
but it was great to see, and we had some firefighters playing, and I want to say thanks to them because they were handing out water and everything too. So it was, these events are great, and I'd ask anybody to come down and support them whenever we have them because they turn out to be such a great event for the community, and that's kind of what we're all about. So we are going to talk about the pool a little bit on Demand Star, and I can just talk about that a little bit. Yesterday we did have the bid opening for the pool. We had one again. It actually was one that was, they bid the first time. Remember, the first out of the three now. Bid the first time, but somehow they didn't get the word that they had to rebid. So then now, again, we had that other bid that we didn't really like. So now we're gonna go back. This one is a good company, Opulent Outlines LLC. They're out of Fort Myers. Their resume and documents look really, really good. I don't anticipate this being an issue. We do have to do two, I guess what comes up next is we have to do 2 interviews with them. Well, first we have to have a selection committee and select the company. And then we would have to do 2 interviews because of the HUD money that comes, and then the CDBG DR money. We have to do those 2. So I just want to make sure everyone knows. I know I keep saying it and I keep saying it, but we have the money. We have the money. It's following the process. I know it's not as quick as we want. It's not as quick as I want. It's just we have to follow the process. So now we have the design, hopefully the design firm that can start designing once we do the interviews and get through that. And with the holidays, we're going to try to do it right after Thanksgiving. We have to see their availability to try to push things a little quicker. So then they do the design, and then when they get the design done for the bid packet, then it will go out for construction bid. So we still have a ways to go, unfortunately, but we are still plugging away at this pool, as we are with the North Tower, which is part of the CDBG DR, and Newton Park, which we had that selection committee just last week, just FYI. We picked the top 3. I can't remember off the top of my head what they were, but we have to do the same process. Then we'll bring them in for interviews and go forward with that. So rest assured, we have the money. It's just a process. So yeah, Barbara?
Excuse me, Neil. Did you say you have the money for the design phase or for both phases?
All of it.
All of it. How do you know what the second phase is going to cost? Sorry.
We don't. We have about $5 million to do the project. It'll be a not to exceed,
Okay.
is what it will be.
So this Opulent firm is actually the design firm that now is the one that has bid. And so you're going to be selecting that company to begin the design?
It depends on. I mean, I looked through the paperwork. It's looking good. I can't speak for the other selection committee members, but this is looking better than the last one, I'll tell you that. So
Who's the selection committee? I'm just curious.
myself, Frankie, and Tracy Kohler. So, yeah.
And it's basically going off of what we all had talked about, just replacing what was there, most importantly, the new pump and the pool as it was originally.
Yeah, they're going to design it up to, whatever dollar amount that we get after the design, and that's kind of what we'll get. And we want to make it as good as we can get it with the money that we have. And they'll come up with a design, and they'll probably hopefully present it to us and just see your thoughts on it. But this company has a pretty good resume, so I have the confidence that they'll do a great job.
What is the name of the company again? Is it
Opulent.
Opulent?
Opulent. Sorry, it's a tongue twister for me. Oops.
You said Opulent Outlines, didn't you?
Yeah, there we go. Yep, that's it.
There's a Opulent Outlines in Fort Myers.
Yes, that's where they're out of. So Fort Myers.
And then just if I could I think Barbara touched on this a little bit, but this company was actually just do the design, not only for the pool rebuild, but also the restrooms, if you will.
Yeah.
And how about the pumps and all of that?
All of it.
And
Yep.
then-
The whole area of the pool, I'd have to read through exactly what our scope was, but
Sure.
everything involved with it.
But it's possible then that a second company could actually do the construction work of the pool?
It'll have to be another one. You can't use the same one for the design as you do
Okay.
for the construction.
Okay, and do we have a timeline? I bet you're kind of scared to give one because this has been,
I'm scared
A
to give one,
moving
and
target.
we'll know more once we do the interviews with them, and those will be public meetings, so you definitely, we'll let you guys all know and you can attend, but then we'll ask the questions, like, what's your timeline, what do you think, those kind of things, so.
Is that meeting scheduled?
No, we just awarded it yesterday,
awarded, okay.
so we have to find
Okay.
time in all of our holiday
All right, so we'll
schedules.
look forward
to-
to when the meeting's scheduled. Baby steps.
Baby steps, yeah. Otherwise, yeah, things at Bay Oaks are going well. We have a little league team out of Fort Myers that has been practicing 1 or 2 days a week, so the field is being definitely used by them, which is great. And now we have senior softball coming in. They're out. I don't know if Joy, have you been? Yeah, I've been playing. Turnout has been good. Everyone seems to be happy. So the field's being used. So, and then the park is we just got a bid to make the walking path a concrete sidewalk, if you will. So it'll be a little more accessible to people with wheelchairs or ADA, people with strollers, whether for kids or dogs, to go down there and walk the path. So that's paid for through the park improvement funds that we have, or park impact fees, sorry.
Just a question, Jeff. The walkway that we have at the Mound House, I'm sorry. The walkway that we have down at the Mound House is sort of that other sort of softer material. Was that a decision to not use that and use concrete instead? Why?
We found that even the one at the Mound House hasn't held up very well.
Okay.
And that area is prone to flooding. I know we did raise it up, but it's still prone to flooding.
Okay.
Concrete just was the best. I mean, even when you walk around Mound House, and I guess I'm live on camera, but there's tripping hazards. We have to replace it. It probably is more costly.
Okay.
For sure, I think the walking path is right around 71,000, where I think the flex pave, when we redid it, we got the quotes, was around 200,000.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, it's just more. I mean, it's a little bit nicer with the flex pave, but I think longevity wise, we don't have to. We want to be as resilient as we can, and I think the concrete is the best way to go.
Okay, thank you, Jeff.
Other improvements, I guess Michelle will get to this a little bit more. We have hopefully some exciting news, but we can use those park improvement funds, our park impact funds, sorry. We're going to be using them for the shade sales around the pickleball courts, the shade sale at the fitness court. We have about $200,000 left. It's not going to go all that far, but it will go far enough to get some of the stuff that we want. And then, we'll wait on Michelle. We'll give it some suspense about her idea she's bringing in. So, any other questions about the park?
Neil, how much do we have included in this year's budget for maintenance items?
We can send that to you. I'd have to pull it up.
If you could give me a copy of the whole budget, maybe I could just break it down and look at it.
Yeah, if you were going through the budget process, I don't know how much you followed it,
No, I didn't.
but we slashed, about 500,000
That's
of the
what
Parks
I'm
and Rec
concerned
budget?
about, that, we need to concentrate more on what we have than rebuilding at this point until we get a good solid plan on
Yeah, and
money and where it's coming from, you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
we need to maintain our core because it's so important that we have a building and functioning than
Yeah.
to improve other parts of the park. And, as much as I want them improved, I also want to make sure that we have a building because it's so important to the community. So.
Yeah, and the park, just so everyone's clear, the park impact fees cannot be used to replace items. It's got to be used for new infrastructure. So whether, if we need a new roof, we can't use it for that. If we need to repair something at the building, we can't use it for that. It's new infrastructure, putting in a new walking path or whatever, lights for the pickleball courts, those kind of things that weren't there existing. I even was thinking about using some of it for the Little League lights, and we can't do that because they were existing. So it's a very small scope as far as what we can use the park impact fees for. But yeah, one of the things that we talked about, and if you go back to the council meeting when we talked about the budget, I thought a pretty decent presentation about risks, and what we need money to do these things, and the risk of cutting it is not having the money to do that. And that was a council decision to do what they did with the budget. And I know the reasons, but it's tough when we have to cut all this. I mean, we cut 3 or 4 staff. We have some money in there for maintenance, but you're right, not enough to do what we really need to do, and that's just unfortunate for this year. But hopefully we can get back to it next year. But I'll make a note to send out the budget to everyone so they can review
Well,
it.
can we just add that as an agenda item to the next meeting and review it?
Sure.
So we all understand the risks and also help us balance with,
Yeah, and if you want to go back, and I'll send you the link to the YouTube video too, that from the council meeting. It can give you a better idea of where we came from as a department. I had 2 pages of risks that would happen if we cut $500,000 out of our $1.2 million budget. So it is what it is. I mean, I understand. I don't fault anybody for it. It's just the nature of where we're at right now. We had the biggest deficit of any, and I know if you're talking Parks and Rec, they typically do have a decent deficit. They're more paid for, they're more of a, what am I trying? Amenity for the, amenity for the town. I mean, it's not. We just try to do what we can. We try to keep the fees low, even though we had to raise them a little bit. But we can definitely put that in there as a discussion for next time.
and including maintenance Rick brought up. Do we have an answer on the roof?
So I did have a company come out last week. They were the company that did the roof the last time we sealed it. They got up there. We do have some of the screws that need to be replaced. They're basically like metal screws, and they have like a rubber on there that seals everything. So some of the rubber over just the time and the heat has worn out. But the coating, for the most part, is still in pretty good shape. I know we're coming up on 20 years, so I don't want to sit there and say that it's going to be good forever. But for just the repairs that we need, we're looking at just for those rubber screws around like $5,000. So we're going to go ahead and move forward with that. But otherwise, and since I feel good because they're the company that came out and did the coating, and we're in pretty good shape with the roof.
And we had this issue pre-Ian too. I know when I started, there was screws that popped off. It's just an old building. We've been kind of replacing those screws, and it's a Band-Aid, and we know that. If we had maybe somebody on the Friends of Bay Oaks will win the lottery, and we can get a new roof. So
Did they tell you the warranty? Because I know there was one, but I can't remember.
I think we're asking formally the warranty.
Yeah.
I'd have to look. I actually just printed off and read through, but I didn't bring it with or memorize it. The report of when the county, we took it over from the county, or the county gave it to us. However you want to read that.
I've read.
It's very interesting. Read. I sent it to Neil. I can send it to all of you.
I can send it out.
So it's very interesting. The same issues that we're having is what they were having. Although the programming, although we had more people attending them back then, it's kind of the same. We're trying to do the same programming. They had basketball, volleyball. They had roller dancing. I saw roller dancing. That was kind of neat.
We had
So
a couple of them,
yeah. So
hockey. We had hockey ones.
yeah, we had the boards there that washed away, and yeah, it was good. But looking at some of the issues, it's interesting. Even probably back then, they probably needed a roof replacement. But I can look at the warranty on what that is. But I think it was 20 years.
Yeah, and then I looked at it as well. I think the turnover was in 2009,
Yeah.
and the roof was 3 years old at that point, because they had everything listed out with that paperwork. So we're right up on that 20-year mark. So.
Yeah, and I don't know what that means as far as limited warranty at that point, or I'd have to read through the fine print. But
Well, I think the good news is it's not shot. $5,000 is manageable with a good roof.
yeah, I mean, it's something that's going to have to
or managed.
get done, and, you know, if we have to move some funds around in our own budget, we'll try to do that, but we're gonna try to do the best we can with what we have.
Great, any other questions on maintenance or roof? We'll add maintenance to the next meeting. We've got the indoor pickleball hours.
Did we just skip over A there? Did we talk about concessions?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, we jumped over to roof coating, yes, concession stand. This is a follow-up because we have a donation that came in to fix the concession stand, and now the concession stand needs to be used for an office.
Yeah, offices, it's,
Offices.
we have very limited, space for any of our
So the
employees down
talk
there.
was, and I actually took a peek in there, is the kitchen area inside of the rec center, is maybe using that as an upgrade?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. We have kind of our wish list from when that was a concession stand, or from when they were gonna fund the concession stand items. We still have that list. You know, it's kind of the basics, the hot dog roller, we did to get the popcorn machine, you know, probably like I think we had asked for like a pretzel stand, a warmer, or whatever you'd call them. So, I think that's a great idea for when we have these events, we can bring in, you know, concessions and sell those out of there, and maybe the Friends can help staff that to earn some money, so.
And Jeff, I was just kind of thinking about the same thing with regard to the Friends. If they're going to be doing some of the fundraising, it would be nice to really put some project in front of the Friends so that they have a goal as to what they're going to be raising funds for. And it would seem that the concession stand would be a great project for them to fund, as long as they know what it takes and how much money it would cost and how long it would take. But
Yeah,
those
it's-
kinds of programs that we don't have money in the budget for already, that have been on in the planning stage for some time, we could maybe move that to the front burner.
Yeah,
But
and we have
correct-
like $9,000
Yeah,
for concessions equipment
we
already,
already
so
have
they wouldn't
money.
even have to raise the funds for that.
But
It-
I would think it would be additional funds beyond the 9, I guess.
I mean, we wouldn't do anything too great. We can only have things that
Kitchens
warm
aren't
up.
big.
Yeah,
We can't
kitchen's
cook
not-
anything,
I
so.
mean, I'm envisioning like things that would help enhance having parties and events there, refrigerators, you know, maybe an oven, you know,
Yeah.
things like that, to help with catering.
I don't know if we can cook out of there, though. We need a license, so we wouldn't be able to do any hot food cooking.
Okay.
It would be more of the
Warming thing.
warming.
Warming, yeah,
hot
warming,
dogs,
warming
pretzels,
refrigerators.
popcorn, those kind of
They call
things.
it catering kitchen, I think. is
Maybe a
what-
cotton candy
catering.
So you
machine.
can do like events like weddings and things
Yes,
like that,
Yeah.
where you
yes.
can bring them in and warm them up. They need a small kitchen to be able to do that, so. It doesn't need to be that equipped, though. It wouldn't be that expensive, so.
No, I think for what we had,
Plenty of
I'll,
money in
I'll
there.
try to track down that list.
Well, they have, how much did we have donated, Joy?
You mean the community foundation?
How much
Yeah,
did we-
it was around $9,000, and
Yeah.
I actually might have that list somewhere in my email, so I can look for it also. But I've talked to Neil a couple of times about if you all think there's another need beyond, you know, that's not the concession stand, i.e., you know, bleachers for inside. I mean, I think the community foundation would definitely be okay with repurposing that grant. You know, it's just a matter of communication,
Yeah.
really.
Okay.
So whatever you think is number one or most important on the list.
Are the bleachers we have not able to come back inside?
We actually, I think they just need a really like deep cleaning. I looked at them because we used them over the weekend for the
Oh, yeah, that's right.
pickleball tournament, and there's no sharp edges. There was no like rubber parts missing where it comes into contact with the floor, because that's my biggest concern, is just bringing them in and then.
They were in really good shape, I thought.
Yeah, let's bring those back in,
I think we can
for
bring
sure.
those back in. I don't know if that's what we've always had, if we had more, but it's like 2 sets.
I don't think we got,
So,
I'd have to look at the damage inventory from FEMA.
yeah, but no, I think we can definitely bring them in. So we just need to give them a good pressure washing.
I guess who would be the best, or how would we go about identifying what we want in this kitchen?
Well, I'll get the list, or Joy, maybe if you can help me out with that.
You had a list when you donated that money?
They-
Okay.
We gave them a list of things we'd like with prices.
Okay.
And then they basically said, sure, yeah, we'll fund those. So we do have a list of things we had already
All right,
requested.
so we would just move that into the new kitchen. Okay, so if we can get that list and then we can follow up with that, get that possibly rolling with funds. Anything else on the concession stand? Indoor pickleball hours and outdoor? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I can
Niels.
talk about that. I'm just, right now, our indoor hours for pickleball, and a new thing with this budget year is the indoor is now included in any membership, so 6-month, annual, resident, non-resident. We're just not seeing a whole lot of folks coming in. I know everybody that plays outside, especially now with the time change, are out there. I'm coming in at 7:30. A lot of times, there's already 4 or 5 people on the court. But, we'd love to have more folks come inside, and I think we could certainly open it up earlier, and I know that would probably help. I don't know, I know that there's, it's a nice day, you want to be outside, I get that. But also, with season, I think that'll help, bring some of our visitors in as well. So we were thinking, we could probably have that open as early as 8:30 a.m. Just we get there at 8, and that'll give us, time to get everything set up, open it up at 8:30, and then we could still, keep it open till noon. But I guess we're just kind of looking for a recommendation to take back to council. That would go to council, or just?
We could make that.
We
We
could
could
make
make
that-
that decision as staff. It just kind of wanted everyone's input on.
Yeah,
on
just I guess
opening it up.
input on it.
Yeah, I don't believe we have so much an issue. You're right, everybody's playing outside. But the one item that I am getting hit with is where we're at with getting access into that gym in after hours. We had talked about maybe doing,
I can, yeah.
that would be.
I do have
us.
quotes from
That's a
Soft
bigger
Trim.
Topic.
Yeah, it's just going to be kind of, it's got to be strategic because we still haven't got an answer back from our insurance company if we can A, even do it, or B, what that liability might look like. I do have the quote for everything, which we can actually use park improvement funds or park impact funds for, because it's a new structure within the building. So we could pay for that. It's just with only having $200,000, that kind of limits us on what we can use those funds for. So first of all, we got to check with the insurance or find that out, and then second, we have the infrastructure to do it. It's just going to be costly to do it. So that's kind of where we sit there. But I do have the quotes from Soft Trim, who's a company of ours that we use to get that going. But I do. It is still an option, still out there. It's just we have to be kind of mindful of, if somebody gets hurt, what we're liable for. If something happens to them while they're in there, what are we liable for? I mean, just somebody walking down the street and tripping over a broken curb, we keep getting litigation on. So I just want to make sure we have our ducks in a row before we just throw a bunch of money into the surveillance part of it.
Great, and the next big one is the Silver Sneakers program. Do we have any updates on that?
Well, what's the demand store? I don't know what the demand store is.
That's what we talked about earlier. That's the bid that came out that
Oh,
they're gonna
that-
be reviewing. That's the Demand
Oh,
Star.
all right.
He is right, he had kind of jumped into it from the staff
Oh,
report.
Yeah, Demand Star is just where we put in the bid portal where people can submit their bids for the
Oh,
projects.
I didn't know the
Yeah.
term was
Yeah.
demand.
We ended up having, I think, if I remember right, Jason would know off the top of his head, I think 40 to 45 people review the plans and only one bid. So we only had, I think, 18 or 20 the first 2 rounds. So we had more people look at it at least. It's just, hopefully this is the one.
Well, and I think you did mention too, even though we do have funding, it is actually almost not adequate for all that we need to even just replace what we had before, including the pump and the actual pool. So if we were to build a really first-rate pool, like John wants on our advisory board, that would be a $12 million project, not a $5 million project.
Yeah, potentially. We actually used, we had other funds within the CDBG-DR park one would be, we found some additional funds for the lighting on Old San Carlos. So we're actually rolling that into the pool project as well. So we do have additional funds for that. I think it's not much. It's like 300,000 or 400,000, but a little bit more. We want to make sure that the pool is a destination for people. I know it's not going to be the Olympic swim pool that John wants, but
Like a junior.
yeah, we'll take the junior, but I think we have the potential to make it, almost like a destination. And then also when that opens up, I know we had concessions in there before. We actually, was it concessionaire? Is that what it's called? We hired somebody, but I think we could work out something there, like you'd go to any other pool and get a snack by the pool and stuff. So we want to make it a really, it was used in the summer a lot with kids and groups coming in. We wanted that to happen with visitors and residents throughout the year too. So as much as we love the water aerobics and the people that showed up every day, this is going to be a kind of a different looking pool, I think. So
Okay, thank you, Jeff. Sorry?
or just move your mic closer, maybe.
Oh, all right, thank you. Oh, yeah, well, I had it off too, that was help.
And I think there was a question about silver sneakers. So I did reach out to them. It's a 6 to 8 week process I can only talk to an agent at this point, where an actual program representative will let us know whether we will be able to offer that again. So I'm hopeful by the next meeting, it'll be at least 8 weeks by then, that I'll get an answer on that. I tried to just pin them down and say, hey, can you at least let us know, like, if this is the same problem that we might foresee with the Lee County facility. I can't think of the name of the.
Okay.
Well, thank you. Waxahachie has offered that program, and that's why at that time where we weren't able to have it because the radius, we were too close to that park. So I'm hoping that won't be the case, but I can't get through to anybody that can give me more information at this time. So I just kind of got to wait until I get a response. But we did submit an application to become, a silver sneaker provider for the Bay Oaks Rec Center.
Are you saying that we at one point had a silver sneakers program?
Yes.
Was that when it was under Lee County?
No, when Danielle was here, I was just looking it up. It took us about 7 or 8 months to get a response back from them. I'm just to be fair with Neil, he's
That
trying.
we did have a silver sneakers
We
program?
did for about a month and a half,
Oh,
and then the other hurricane hit. So, and then it expired. So hopefully we can get an answer. 6 to 8 weeks, actually, I'm encouraged by. Sorry to say, but
I'll keep calling, and hopefully I'll have more information by the next BORCAB meeting.
okay. Thank you.
Anything else on the silver sneakers? No. We had down, we were in, I don't know if we're gonna be able to do it today, the strategic goals and kind of like the marketing, adding that in there. I think one of the follow-ups was putting a flyer together that would be supplied to the local hotels and apartments, condos, promoting Bay Oaks.
Right. Yeah, so we talked about, it's basically like a rack card. So we have ones that when we got back in the building, and now of course everything's kind of outdated on those because we just changed the pricing on all the memberships. So we had just updated because the only thing that was different when we came back was just the hours of operation. So we are working on the new ones. It's through, it's basically a program that we use to do our flyers called Canva. So basically just like kind of rebranding it, freshening it up with some new photos and then all the new like pricing. But we hope to have that soon so we can put it out and make like a, outreach locally here on the island right after Thanksgiving. And then we'd also like to do that again, like after the holidays, like after New Year's, go back out and, wherever they need to be refilled. And, so that's what we're working on right now as far as that. And then I've also called and reached out to a company. It's called Peach Jar, but the Lee County School District, they used to just basically municipalities could submit flyers for their events. Now they have it's kind of like a third party that you have to go through to do that. And so I talked to them because I've heard kind of conflicting things, but They do charge, and then basically any flyer that we wanted to distribute from Bay Oaks, it would cost us $25 per school per flyer, not each individual flyer, but just for like per event. And then basically it's like a whole process where we receive like emails when it's been approved and just like throughout the process. So I think it's something definitely worth trying and seeing how it would work. We would definitely want to send flyers to Heights Elementary. That's where, you know, the beach kids go to school now. Certainly Tanglewood might be another school in the district that's off of McGregor. That's, you know, pretty much a straight shot to the beach. So I would definitely like to try those two schools. And of course, any private schools, we wouldn't have to go through that process. I've just heard conflicting things from other people who've used it where, you know, everybody that came to our event, not one found out about it through that program. So it's still like, you know, how do you get a guideline from the school and the district on how the flyers kind of need to be. But still, like, how do you know that they're actually, okay, it's been approved, but how do you know it's actually going in that child's backpack and getting home to
I
mom
used to
and
call
dad?
them and check.
Yeah,
Like,
so.
did you get it today?
Yeah. So, but I mean, you know, we know, I figure we'll at least try it out with Heights because we, you know, have a lot of parents that we're in communication with, obviously, because their kids come to our after school. So, you know, we can kind of see how it goes. We also have a relationship with the principal just because of, you know, the after school and, you know, everything that we have to do to make sure with the busing. And so you know, we'll kind of use them as our test and see how it goes and kind of go from there. You know, if we feel like it's making an impact, then we could extend to some other schools. But we want to be efficient with it because it is expensive. So.
Yeah, and from experience, my son goes to Tanglewood, and I think I get the emails from Peach Jar, and you know, for a while I looked at them, and then you kind of just gets lost in your emails sometimes. So, I don't know how effective it would be. I know for the Halloween event, which was awesome. By the way, just to reiterate that, my son's teacher distributed it on her own to the 5th grade class, and we ended up getting like, I think, 10 or 12 people from his class come down. So it's a lot of word of mouth too. But the other thing I wanted to mention is that we still are looking for, and I'd have to check with HR to see where we're at with. We have a digital marketing and special events coordinator position. I need to check with them. We made it a town-wide position, not just a Parks and Rec one, because I think it's important to market, you know, all the events, whether it's Mount House or something at one of the parks or Times Square, whatever it is. But we are still looking for that. It's posted on our website for anyone that would like to take a look or apply. And this is addition to the obviously the PIO position because Nicole Berzin left or went to Wisconsin. So we do have those positions open, which hopefully, you know, that's our goal is to have them do more of the marketing for us. Because of our staff shortage, and even when we had full staff, it's hard sometimes with all the programming going on to have the time to do all that, which they've been doing a great job. I know Nicole did a great job, Danielle did a great job. Neil's continuing that with the marketing as much as he can, but I think having someone here on staff, and it is posted, so it's a position that we do have open. So for all of you thousands that are watching, you know, if anybody knows anybody, please feel free to pass it along. We do have a lot of other openings too at the town, just so you know. Just putting that kick out there.
I recall, Jeff, that we had a Facebook group page that was Bay Oaks. Is that active? Is there somebody working on that? As short-staffed as you are, we're getting that out? Because I think that's also been very effective in the past.
Yeah, that is still active. Nicole was, whenever we would post anything, it would go on the town's Facebook page, and also it would get uploaded to the Bay Oaks page. So Tracy Kohler is kind of in the interim handling that, and I just sent her everything from the pickleball tournament on Saturday, and she got it right out. So we'll continue to kind of go that way. I did also want to mention I did reach out to the chamber. We talked about doing like a taste of the beach event, you know, when we get everything with the improvements finished and have the field there. And they're, you know, this week obviously they've got the sand building, the sand castle building event, and then they've got the boat show coming up. So they're really busy with all that, but they are going to get back to me, and you know, so we'll see if that's something that they would like to partner with. If that would, you know, be an event that we could do down the road when we get things kind of finalized over there.
think that was due normally around May, if I'm not mistaken. I know it was after season to
Okay.
kind of, bring more people to the beach during the off-season, which is
Right.
anytime after April.
Yeah, because didn't we have it down at Old San Carlos
We
one
did,
year? We shut
exactly.
the street down, which is
Exactly. Yeah.
not the best idea sometimes down there, but I know we
Had
did have it.
Off Island once, we've done.
Yeah, 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 so-
It really is nice at Bay Oaks, because it is a community event, and the more people we bring from the community to Bay Oaks, it also
Right.
helps us in the long term of being able to raise money for Bay Oaks.
Exactly.
So the more community events we do there, the better. So.
Exactly. I don't know, I don't know if it's time to ask, but actually Ed brought up an interesting question about the memorial benches, and I want to know if the staff has built that into the strategic plan with regard to an actual town policy that oversees any naming or any memorials or any, so is there a policy in place? Is there anything in the strategic plan that addresses that?
Not that I know, and I know that's one thing. I know it kind of put a back burner with some of this school stuff that we're talking about, but one of them was to have recognition and naming rights, a policy to it, and how we. I know we're dealing with that with CellCab too, is how we
Right.
recognize people, people or families or whoever we want to recognize, and how to go about that. I mean, there's so many good people, even with CellCab. There's so many people that have helped out. How do you get a bench for everyone? So I think something like the Mulholland Award or the Murph Award, where it's put up, hopefully we get our tree back in here, and we nominate somebody every year possibly to do it that way. And then their name would be on the plaque. I know Jimmy D'Amelia was on there as like a 14-year-old, got a volunteer award. He was on there. So there was a lot of different people that were on that tree, and I think that's maybe one of the ways to do it. I know the pool had, that was probably before we took it over, had that, has the donor wall. So doing something like that too. But no, to my knowledge, we don't have a policy. I don't know, but I'm guessing the Murph committee has one because they do nominations every year. So maybe that's something to look at, but it's kind of hard when you talk about all the good that people have done for the town and with the town and helping the kids out at Bay Oaks and all that, and how do you memorialize everybody? It's a tough concept, really.
Well, I just want to throw that out there because I think it's a larger issue than just Bay Oaks. It
Correct.
actually is town-wide, and I would appreciate, because I know tomorrow when we have our CellCab meeting, this conversation is going to come up. And I would like for town council, or maybe the strategic planning committee, to build that in, to actually have a policy, because we can't really arbitrarily make that decision on our own, nor should we. That's not our purview, but we need to look to the town for a policy that states what can happen and what can't happen, especially with sponsor naming rights. And if somebody comes in with $500,000, where it could be like Hertz Arena. So, I think we need to establish that at the outset before it gets away from us, especially with the contributions coming perhaps from friends. How will those contributions be recognized?
Duly noted, Barbara.
Yeah, I think that's something we haven't really talked about here, but I know in CellCab we've talked about it, for a while now. So I think it's good too to have a policy like that. So, if someone does pass away or something, we have a system. We don't just kind of just say, hey, we got to get a bench for them or whatever. As much as I would love to do that, it's a little overwhelming when you have. Like we're running out of space sometimes, even for benches around the town where we need them. Bay Oaks is actually the one place that we are going to be putting benches in around the walking path. So,
There are a couple memorials there already. So.
yeah, there's the Little League Memorial, in the garden and everything. So yeah, the benches I think will more be for the memorial bench program that we have townwide, with like the green benches that people pay for, or they give us money, we buy them, and then we put them up. So.
Well, actually, that brings up the question, if there is someone that, contributes funds toward a memorial bench, is that in perpetuity? Is that over a period of 10 years? What happens if the bench becomes weathered? Does the name go back on after it's refurbished? I mean, those are questions that,
Yeah.
the donors need to know. what the expectations are, and we need to know what the rules are.
Yeah, let me look that up. I don't know if there is a policy on that. I know after Ian, we did replace that for them. We had gotten, the FEMA funds were there at that point, to replace them. They aren't quite there anymore, but yeah, it's a good question. How long do they stay there? How long do they, if they're weathered or whatever? I mean, they've actually held up pretty well, I think, over the years. We've had to replace some legs on them, but that have rusted. But let me look into that, and I'll
My
report
fault,
back.
because I touched my mic there, by the way, but we used to do trees too. We used to do memorial trees in some other municipalities that I worked in, and those were nice too, and it was the life of the tree, obviously,
Oh,
which can be
beautiful.
20 years, 50 years, maybe 5 years if kids are hanging on them or whatever, but that was another thing to do, and I know, I can think with everyone I worked with, as far as benches went, it was usually a donation from the family, just to honor that person. I know a lot of them were in parks where, this gentleman like used to sit or walk his dog every day, and they would stick the bench in that particular place. And
Yeah.
I can't think of any instance where the bench was destroyed and the town or the city would just replace it. Then it would, it was until it
Had its
was
life.
no longer there.
Yeah, because right now it's basically the cost of the bench and the engraving. That's what the donor, if you will, pays to have that bench out there. And yeah, it's a lot of the same things. Like they love the sunset or something on there. But they're around.
That
And
idea of the trees.
what's that? The trees is good. I know a lot of schools do that for individuals too. So that's a good idea. And we just planted how many trees down there? So it's a lot of donors.
I believe that the 501c3 will be taking a lot of this on, and that group, I recall, in one of the meetings has had discussions with town on the naming rights and everything.
Oh.
So they are also working on that. So I would, if there are opportunities right now,
That's a beautiful way to collaborate, I think.
Correct,
We can
so-
come up with the policies and the procedures, and the funding can,
yeah, and that
sure there's
group's
some
already talked to the
consistency.
town, so they've got the benchmark of where to get started with that, so.
And
Yeah, we
so
don't. The
once-
only issue right now with that, and I know I've been involved in a couple of those. We don't have a policy to even put in place, so we need to get that in place. And I know the leadership has been talking about what that might look like, and so, but it's got to go through legal review and all that. So yeah, that's good.
I think, can we possibly have that as an agenda item for next month so that we can actually move forward with that and get the town staff and council
We can
putting this
try.
on the front
We can
burner?
try. This-
Because
it-
kicking the can down the road, especially now with the insurgence of this wonderful new Friends group, we need to get ahead of that conversation, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
And we
And
could look
also,
to
Jeff-
other
Well,
towns for models.
I know
this.
right now if somebody donates to the town, it's basically in the waiver that whatever they donate is now part of the town. That's about the only policy I know, is that in perpetuity that say you, I don't know, build a shack for the pickleball players, that belong to the town. Once they sign over onto that, that's an agreement that the town council signs, that is now property of the town. So whether we build, something on there, it would always come back to the town, and we'd maintain it.
And what happens if the town does not maintain it? Or what happens if the town in future years decides to dismantle something? Again, is that the town's prerogative to do?
Right
So
now
in
it-
other words, the town has total freedom once that gift is made.
Yep.
As to long-term, okay.
Yep, it is the town's property. They can do what they feel necessary with it, yeah.
Jeff, just for so I can understand this a little bit better, I think that naming rights are a completely different thing than a memorial bench or tree or anything like that. And when I think of naming rights, I think of somebody naming Bay Oaks or with their business name, and I believe we can't do that.
I think we can. I've looked up statutes on other ones that you can put a policy in place. And I know a lot of people do it'd be Bay Oaks, but it'd be Neil Court at Bay Oaks or something like that we can do. I know in a nonprofit world when I worked, we had the building was named after at like 500,000, and then the room was you could get a naming rights of each room for like 50,000, whatever it was. So, yeah, I did look up some other statutes and some other municipalities, and they do have naming rights and that thing. So.
Just for the record, I'm totally against naming rights. I just don't think we need businesses on our.
Yeah, and I'm not
buildings.
in
I
a
just don't think it looks
philosophical, I wasn't
community-ish.
looking for a
Yeah.
philosophical discussion on whether naming rights are feasible or not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, as far as a memorial and a naming right is definitely two different things as far as I'm concerned.
I agree. It'd be two separate. Yeah, it would be more of a facility naming rights and then some other memorial or donation. But yeah, I know I'm not a huge fan of naming rights either. But with our budget the way it is, like we could sure use $500,000. But I'm not advocating one way or the other. We were just asked to look into it.
And didn't you recently have a bench that's just to the town staff, to thank them for all of the work that they've done rather than individual recognition?
Correct. We haven't got it yet, but it's going to go right out front here, just out front, town hall. Yeah, it'll
Okay,
be
and how-
dedication to all the staff and
Okay, how does that read then?
I don't. We haven't even
Okay.
got that far yet. So.
How is, I guess I'm trying to figure out, how does that fit in with Bay Oaks, that question?
It's just an example of what they're already doing
Okay.
without a policy.
Okay, so I think in summary here is the town, we know, is still having to work on that policy, and we have to wait for direction.
But-
Correct.
So at this point, I would say that any donations right now should go through the 501c3.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, I mean, the town also, but,
Yeah, I mean, if it's a program like the Little League field is named after.
Rob Vale.
Yeah. So and then the garden out front, drawing a blank with it.
The Estera Garden Club.
garden club.
No, it's named after somebody though.
That's,
that's
like,
right.
I'm not, I can't remember it. but
Yeah. I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
But that's named after somebody. So we do have things at Bay Oaks that are already named after people. So I mean, there is a precedent there, but I
We need to find out what it is.
correct.
Okay. All right, we've got that as a follow-up, then we'll add that to the agenda. The last one is, it's a broken record, but season's coming. The school, I understand, is almost dead. What can we do to get that park open in the back? That
You
beautiful
could,
Child Park.
if you all individually would like to reach out to the representatives and see if they can help us out with that. We have asked and asked and asked, as we did with all the ILA. If you've been following any of it, they haven't really been, and I'll just say it, they haven't really been to their word on what the ILA says. So they're really not even, I think it's just small potatoes for them, and they're not even responding to
I
it.
didn't get much negotiation right now.
So we went through mediation, what was that, last week or probably 2 weeks ago now, and the items that we're talking about are much bigger. I every time I do ask that, or I do say, what about our park? Or what about the park? Like we used to have it, and it says it right in there. It spells out what we do, but I'm not telling anybody. I mean, the gate's open, but I'm not telling anybody to trespass. But we're trying. We're working on it. So.
Okay. All right. Member items. Ed, you got anything?
I'm sorry, didn't know you were looking this way. Jeff, you might have went over this a little bit when we were talking about pickleball. But do you have an update on the key card? I know you're checking with the town attorney about liability and had more to do, I think, with getting into the workout rooms, off hours.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
exactly what you were talking about?
Yes.
But that had to do with pickleball players.
No.
Okay.
That was the
Guess I
weight
was
room.
confused
They were-
during that
so
part.
the goal is, what we'd like to see if we can make it work is they'll come through that side door by the pond. They'll have those doors will be locked going into the gym, as will the ones going in. So the side door where the cardio is, that'll be open. So they'll scan in. Somehow we're trying to, obviously logistics. We want everyone to get credit for being there too. So I know insurance companies, a lot of times if you go to the gym like 10, 15 times, you get a credit. We want to make sure they get a credit. So I don't know if we scan in as well, or if we can figure out with Soft Trim, once they scan their card, it reads it, however we do it. But then they'll have access to the restrooms in that vestibule, and then the cardio and the workout room, weight room.
All right, and then the other thing I wanted you to discuss was, we talked about a lobbyist that was working with us for the pocket parks. Do you have an update on that, or?
I don't. Ron Book is our lobbyist, and at first he was really kind of, when we said we didn't have any matching funds, we were like, it's dead in the water. But he said, let me look into it. But I don't think there's been much progress on that. Now, granted, the one is not only, I'm not saying it's not, it was getting down to about 500,000. The one on Lagoon, is that? Turpin, yeah. So, I mean, even the matching on that would be, we just don't have the funds to match anything. So he's still looking into it. We're working on our other appropriations right now through the state, stormwater, road repair, those kind of things too. But that's something that's on his radar. He's actually, when we talked to him, he had Florida Land Trust shirt on. So I thought that was a good, that was a good sign. But I don't have a concrete answer if that's going to go through or not. We just would not have any matching funds, and that's a little bit unheard of on appropriations. So they do have our 2 locations that we want. They have the addresses, the listings. The 2 that we kind of identified for sure was the one off Connecticut, and then one on Tarpon.
All right, that's all I had.
Joy?
I just wanted to thank Neil and the BOSS team. The Marco trip was a lot of fun, and I'm glad I had the opportunity to go. I'm also participating in the senior softball, and it's a hoot. So I'm glad that, and they're making the guys that hit home runs get the ball. And if they hit a home run, then they have to use a wooden bat, which is really kind of funny, but it's a lot of fun. Thanks.
Barbara?
I just looked at last month's notes, and we talked about the shade sale. We understand the funding is in place, but there was some question about the installation. Where are we with that for the workout, the fitness?
We're going to do it in conjunction with the pickleball court, probably the same company, to do both. So once we get the pickleball courts lined, and I'm not stealing her thunder, but we have a couple other things in the works. But once we do the shade sale for the new pickleball courts, we'll also include the one over.
Okay, so you're doing that in
Yes.
tandem. Okay,
Yep.
thank you. I also want to thank Michelle for her yeoman's job of getting our advisory board up and running under your leadership. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well done.
It's a teamwork. Nanny, you got anything?
Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to the pool being done. I am certified in aqua yoga, which is not something anybody else around here offers, and I'm hoping someday to be able to bring that to the community, and the pool would be a great place to do it. In the meantime, though, I've been getting questions from my friends and neighbors about volunteer opportunities with Bay Oaks. My one neighbor is not very enthusiastic about Murray the Moose Night, but I know that there's other opportunities around, and I don't know if it would be best to direct her to the Friends of Bay Oaks, or if there's a way we could get that out there, like, hey, we need more people for the Fright Night, or any of the other activities that are happening, crafting with the kids, however that works. I know you have to be vetted to go through that, and I just would like to see some more of that out there.
Those are great points. I actually was going to bring this up before. If you are not friends with Friends of Bay Oaks or Bay Oaks on Facebook, you should, because that's where the volunteer items are posted. And you are correct, you do need to go through a background check. So if you are interested in doing volunteer work for the town, you can, I believe we can do it in advance.
Yeah, you can do it in advance. You need a background check, and then as of January 1st, you need a fingerprint background too.
Yeah, HR is kind of in the process of revamping that whole like application and just for volunteers. Because I know they're also looking at like, you know, the potential of like internships. So.
Yeah, and I believe the fingerprint as of January 1st is a state law, so.
Yeah, just typically for, if you're gonna be with kids, you gotta have
With
like
kids,
a level
yeah.
2 background.
Yeah,
So-
I'm trying to.
If we have adults, all things go.
Because
If
I
you're
just
around
renewed
kids.
my, it wasn't Amy, who did we do the, I'm trying to think who I did the background checks with. With the town.
Talisa, possibly?
Yeah.
Talisa.
So if they're interested in doing volunteer work, at least get you on the list, you can get the paperwork through, because you have to do a little background,
Yeah.
kind of back and forth, but yes, absolutely volunteers. I mean, with the Halloween, I think the next big one would be the Easter egg hunt.
Yeah,
We need
Easter
a lot
will
of
be our
people to
next
hide
big
eggs
event,
all over
so
the park. So they're really good at posting it on the Facebook
Yeah.
pages.
Yeah, and I know people have been having, angst about the fingerprint, but even at schools, like my wife, when she goes into my son's classroom, she just did the background check. As of January 1st, she's got to go get fingerprinted too. So it's a safety thing. It's just another added thing. I believe that might go through a federal database instead of just the state one. So in other states, they've been doing it. In Minnesota, they've been doing it for years.
Swaps next.
So, yeah, it's just, we have to play the game the way the rules are written, and that's the way they're written.
And the nice thing is, it's like once you do it, you don't have to do it for each individual. You just do it, and it's like, once a year that it's at least good for. So you don't have to do it each time you want to do a volunteer opportunity.
And that's the town, and then the Friends, yes, they need members, they're gonna need volunteers also, so reach out to anybody in that crew.
Okay.
Keep them coming, volunteers are needed. Anything else? Love the water aerobics coming. Rick, you have?
Hopefully.
A couple things. Can I find the strategic plan online? I haven't really viewed it.
You probably can on our website. Everything's public in there, but I can send it to you too.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I'll send it to you. Sorry, my mic was not on.
Because I want to kind of compare it to the plan that we approved.
Is this still the active
pre-Ian, so-
one?
That is the one pre-Ian. That's our strategic plan.
Okay, that's the previous one.
Yeah,
with
it was,
all the designs for the new building and everything? Is there a new
No,
plan?
this is-
No, that would be
General.
strategic plan. The design for the building would be a project update, so it wouldn't be, it might be to get,
No, this is just the general strategic
Yeah.
plan for all of Bay Oaks
Okay.
in general in terms of goals.
Previous to
short-term,
Ian or
long-term.
The-
past Ian?
We developed this in 2019,
So that was previous.
and it was updated in 2020, and no work has been done on it since then.
Okay, so that's still a plan that we're going by though,
that's
right?
the plan that's been approved, yeah. And if you're looking for anything with the Bay Oaks Park, that's all on our website under town projects or projects around town, so.
Okay. As far as special events go, when someone comes in and wants to put a special event, like Taste of the Beach, there's a process. What is the fee for that? Is that usually waived?
They can ask for it to be waived. It goes through permitting under a special event.
Exactly.
But yeah, I mean, they can ask the council for it to be waived. We don't have that ability to waive those kind of fees. As staff, it has to go through the council, but I would have to look in the permitting department how much they are. I don't remember. It depends on the size too. So not only do you do a town review, it goes to the sheriff's office. If you have so many people, they charge for deputies. It goes to fire review, depending on where it's at. If it's on the beach, it could go to FWC too, Fish and Wildlife.
Could that
so.
be why some of our community events are getting moved to other locations to make it easier?
I don't know that. I sign off on the special events permits, but I'm not in charge of them. I mean,
Just,
our
something that,
portion, so.
Rebecca, maybe you can help us with to look into, because I'm afraid what's happening is a lot of our events are getting moved to other locations to make it easier than to go through that entire process and pay the money. I mean, if they knew up front, like for instance, the fees were gonna be waived for a community event, that helps out a little bit. But still, to have to go through that entire process of paying those other fees,
Yeah.
it's making it hard to have a community event at Bay Oaks.
Yeah, and even the town, when we do a special events, we have to go through that process. So, no, I mean, I do sign off on them. There are quite a few special events coming up. I wish I had a list for everyone, but we can maybe put it out there. But yeah, I think today I just signed off on 5 more. So the events are happening throughout the town. At Bay Oaks, we just need to encourage, I think Neil's doing a wonderful job of getting people in, whether it's, having the pickleball tournament there, or having something in the gym. I know you've had karate there, but sorry, it's not karate probably, huh?
We had a powerlifting competition, and they want to come back in February, so just looking at dates to see if we can bring them back.
Yeah, and some of the programs are a little bit different. Like we had the Special Olympics, which was awesome, in there. So those don't need a special event, but I don't know. I have not heard that before, that's a deterrent. I don't know. Which
I'm
do
trying
you
to
have something
figure
in
out
like
why some of these events are going other places, and I want to make sure that our side's covered, that we're making
Yeah.
it as easy as possible for them to put it at Bay Oaks, because it makes a hell of a lot more sense for some of these community events to be at Bay Oaks. Because like I say before, once we bring more events to Bay Oaks, it brings a community to Bay Oaks, and then they understand why we want to invest in Bay Oaks, you know? So that's my goal, is to bring more of those community events and to, you know, kind of be a liaison between these groups and bring them to you and say, hey, you know, how can we get by this problem that we're having, you know, associated with that, so that we have more events there and more community events there instead of other places.
Yeah, and we tried. I mean, when we didn't even have the floor down, we had the Christmas tree event. I think it was the women's club, and that went well, but they decided to go elsewhere too, on the island. You know, they find other venues to go to, and we need to
And I'm
encourage
hoping
them
to
to.
get that back for next
Yeah,
year. I think
absolutely.
It'd be great to have that event in, you know, a town center where
Yeah.
we're all feel comfortable in going, and
Yeah.
it's a great place for us all to be, and it's large enough.
Yeah.
And a great place for it, so.
And once we get that park finally seeded again, and watered and ready to go, that's going to be, we can have a ton of events there. Hopefully we can have a bunch of live music there at some point. You know, even like the Taste of Fort Myers Beach or something like that. That's a big open area where we don't really have that on the island at all for an outdoor event. So it's going to be great.
And the only last thing I had was the plan for Newton Park. Is there a plan for that somewhere that I can look at, or?
That doesn't fall under our purview, but I can get you that.
I
Yeah.
know it did in the old Bay Oaks, that's why I was asking, but we don't deal with that anymore as far as Bay Oaks?
No,
Okay.
no, it never was.
We did way back. I think it was kind of just mixed in, because we did a lot of planning in that way
Yeah,
back.
but that was through
so-
CellCap.
Right. But we
Yeah,
also
this
talked,
is-
I think because a lot of CellCat meetings are obviously held in Bay Oaks too, because we talk about a lot of same issues. We were dealing with a lot of them at that time too. I just wanted to make sure the bathroom was being included in that plan.
Well,
Come to the meeting
So-
tomorrow. We have
Yeah.
Oh,
a
yeah,
meeting
sure.
tomorrow.
yeah, yeah. Is it noon again?
No, I just wanted to make sure a bathroom was being included in that plan, because it is important. to have a
There's
island bathroom.
Yeah, there's one there now. It's a restroom trailer. It's air
Yeah.
conditioned. Getting a restroom beachside is tough. Right now, it has to be up off the ground. We try to even look at hardening, but it's in such a zone that we can't do that. So it has to have a switchback that if you put it in the middle of Newton, the switchback would almost go to Estero Boulevard. So it looks like we're gonna be stuck with a restroom trailer until we can get a wave mitigation wall, something like that we can change the velocity zone as far as FEMA's concerned. We did look at it, you know, raising it up. It was just the cost to do that is astronomical. So, and that one we didn't have as much money on. I can't remember. I can't remember how much we had for that. For CDBGDR. Do you remember, Rebecca?
No, it was not very much for Newton.
Yeah, so.
I don't remember the exact amount, but of the
So yeah, but
overall
there is going to be
dollars.
restrooms there, and you know, we've been having issues with the Palm Avenue bathroom. Just FYI, since we're talking about Newton, people going in them, ripping doors off, those kind of things. So we're possibly thinking about moving that one to a different location too. But everyone's been so respectful for the Newton one. Every time I go check it out, and yeah, I go stick my head in there and check it out, make sure it's clean. It's been clean. It's been good. Everyone's been really respectful. I know it probably doesn't get as much use as Palm Avenue, but you know, you can still use the thing a lot of times and not rip a door off. You know, there would look like there was at Palm, looked like somebody had taken a claw hammer to the inside of it. So I do have the neighbors around there and the guests that do visit Newton. I think they've been so respectful with that restroom and kept it clean. So.
Rick, something else you may want to take a look at is in reviewing the comprehensive plan, the tentative. There are some changes they're looking at implementing for that area of town. And so that may change some of it as well, right next to Newton Park.
Yeah, if we go forward, I think in the plans, we do have plans to put the wave mitigation wall there. That would change the velocity zone, depending on how far it goes. And then we can certainly look at enclosed spaces that are ground level, so.
I think a bathroom there is critical because, it's the middle of the beach and where people are walking on the beach. You got no place. You have
Yeah,
to go to the
so that,
bathroom.
the restroom's been there for,
Yeah, and it's
a
used.
while,
Like I
so-
said, it's important. so.
yeah. It's not going away. We'll always have a restroom there, whether it's a trailer or
Yeah, I know.
a structure is, yeah, so.
All right, I think there was two good topics. One, the special events, if we could add that to the agenda item, if you could update us any special events that have signed up so that we're aware of them.
Yeah, for Bay Oaks, sure.
Yeah, for Bay Oaks on the agenda. And then I think for education, because I remember when I first started, is if you could review the process of special events at the next meeting. So, because we do
Sure.
get approached by everybody. So what applications, what fees, and maybe just
Mm-hmm.
review with all of us, because a lot of us get approached by community members asking, how do we do this?
Yeah, if you, just a quick one on that, if you go to, where is the permitting? Sorry, now I can't even find it.
I think it's right in the front.
It's all
Yeah, if you go to the
online.
permitting
It's
page,
not-
it'll show
It's all
special
online.
events, you
It
just,
is.
oh yeah, it's one of,
that's
it's
what
like
should be.
orange or red, but the application's right there. You just fill out the application, send it in. It doesn't have the fees listed, but if you just call the permitting department, they'll let you know what those
So it's that
are.
easy, just fill out that special event?
Yeah,
and
it's,
send it.
yeah,
Okay.
it's right there, you can fill it out, print it off, fill it out,
Okay.
and then
The
send
fees
it
and
in.
Everything are on there.
They are not, no.
And like he says, you can ask for a waiver of the fees, and, most of the time, I think they're granted. But, just make them, that they're aware that they have to ask for it, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, that's up to the council.
You can maybe think about getting a waiver, but if you're
Yeah.
an individual or a business, then that wouldn't be.
Right.
Yeah,
Whether
and
it's
something-
Profit or community event, so.
And something we do is that we have a price per staff. So like if it's after hours for Bay Oak staff or if it's on a weekend, right now, especially after Ian, we haven't been charging, those. We just are happy to have people down at Bay Oaks, be open. For Public Works too, if there's an event and we need extra Public Works there, depending on the size, we have a charge for that too. So those kind of things that we haven't been charging, especially down at Bay Oaks, because we want to get the people down there and have events there, so.
That's the idea.
Any other member items? Any other member items?
Is anybody going to talk about this picture?
ready, Michelle?
I'm ready. So, I have exciting news. About a month and a half ago, I was approached by a private individual who's willing to fund additional pickleball courts beyond the 4 that are scheduled right now. And after Jeff and Will and everybody, I found out 15 minutes ago that we've been approved.
Nice.
Yes, there's a lot of logistics that go with
There's a lot of
it.
logistics.
But we did get the okay from the town manager to pursue it, for sure. It's logistics of, the procurement of it and those kind of things that since it's a donor, but it's also going to the town, do we have to follow our procurement? So there's some details we gotta figure out, and Michelle, we're gonna meet next week about.
Yep,
is it next
we're
week?
gonna meet next
Yeah.
week and go through the details, but in essence, we'd have 8. And for those of you who did attend, which I did play and got my butt kicked, but I had a blast.
Sorry I missed that, I came later.
That's all right. No, but those tournaments bring a lot of people to the island, and if you've been out at Bay Oaks, it's been playing pickleball, it's been insane. We've had like 30, 40 people out there. So this is exciting that we've got the approval and a private investor coming through.
Yeah, so just to be clear, I know we've been talking a lot about funds. What Michelle's talking about is a donor that's gonna come in and pay for it all, correct?
Correct.
So it would be no additional funds to the town except for maintenance, of course, so we talked about maintenance. Hopefully we wouldn't have to do a whole lot of maintenance in the first year or two, unless we have another storm-ish kind of thing, or natural event. But this is great, and if you're looking at this, please do not think it's to scale. I did this very fast in the last 45 minutes before the the thing, but I just want to kind of show you kind of where it would go, and that we'd still have a lot of room in the park to do other things with big concerts and those kind of things, so.
Yeah. And this was found through the Friends of Bay Oaks, just so it's
Nice.
already been paying off, so.
Yep. So,
Exciting.
yeah, and I'm sorry, we are in the very initial kind of stages. We're excited about this, having more pickleball courts, especially up front like that. So, yeah, it's just logistics and we'll work through. So hopefully it all works out and we get more courts.
Cool.
All right, do we have any more public comment out there? Nope. All right, set the meeting and agenda for the next date. We are looking at, I should have looked at that before. So it'd be the 17th?
June, or, sorry, January? We're skipping December, right?
Well, we skipped December?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect, okay, so then we're looking at the 21st?
Let me check we have them down,
Third Wednesday?
That'd be the third Wednesday in January, 21st.
Yeah.
let me just make sure it jives with what we had put out there. What did you say it was?
January 21st at noon.
Did we not set those yet? Okay, let's tentatively put that down then, and then we'll make sure in the clerk's office that that works. Because it looks like,
Would that also be
I
in the
don't know
afternoon,
why
same
we,
time
oh,
frame?
because it's,
It's at
Town-
noon at every meeting is at
Everyone is at
noon.
noon?
we may have to, that's a Tuesday?
No,
That's a
Wednesday, the
Wednesday.
21st,
20
26th.
Second then,
No, it's 20.
21st of January.
26th.
is it,
No, because we're at 2025.
oh, my bad, I'm on the wrong year. Looking backwards. It's not like me. Okay, it's good,
21st at noon.
got it.
All
Oh, we
right.
got that straightened out.
Adjourn.
All right, meeting's adjourned.
Oh, we didn't.
Whoops.
You guys need to set the agenda.
Oh, you are correct.
Sorry, do we have to do something
Yep.
with the adjournment?
Would like to keep the concession stand on there. I think, are we comfortable with the roof and the maintenance, Rick? Or do
Oh,
you
yeah,
want?
yeah.
I
Oh,
will
we
bring the
wanted-
budget
Just
though.
gonna
Let's
work
put
on the
budget on
maintenance
there.
budget.
Yep,
so-
yep, the maintenance budget.
That's really the key.
Yep.
Yep,
We want to keep the fob system for the gym.
yep.
Of course, pool on top of it. Silver sneakers. I'm gonna keep that park behind the school on there. And then upcoming special events. Did I forget anything? Did we want anything else added to that agenda?
You had said policies and procedures around donors and recognition.
I think we have to wait for the town to do that, so I don't know that it's gonna, I
Let's
think
put
that's a
that
little
out.
bit way over
I don't-
up here versus us right now.
Yeah, it's up to you. You're setting the agenda.
I'm gonna say not at this
Who's
point,
working
not
on it?
until the town comes back with something. We've had that,
We're working on it. The holidays might be a little tough.
yeah.
It's not, it's important to all of us. It's not, yeah, never mind.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Neil, thanks for the recycled pickleball box.
Yeah, we finally got it.
We're
done.
filling it.
I know, and if anybody that plays pickleball, I apologize. I saw it sitting there.
You didn't throw a ball away.
I didn't look, I didn't read, and I threw my water bottle in
Oh,
there.
you're not the only one.
All right.
Meeting's adjourned. You need me to sign something down there?
Yeah, do you have the minutes?
You should